Welcome to Conversations with Ann Elizabeth, the podcast inspired by my book, I'm a Registered Dietitian, Now What?, where I have the absolute joy to sit back, relax, have a conversation about nutrition with a variety of people who share their personal story of passion and purpose, especially registered dietitians. Today's conversation was with Jena Hunt, who is a registered dietitian. We talked about making a career move into your second job and creating a diabetes program from scratch. This week, I'm working on a new blog post. I would love for you to read it. I always post midweek, known as my Wisdom Wednesday. You can always get a little inspiration and hopefully some other intriguing info. And you can always find my book, my blog, and everything Ann Elizabeth at annelizabethrd.com. All right, today's conversation with Jena Hunt reminded me of how Jena and I really connected while she was my intern. I was really looking forward to catching up with her on where she is in her life and her career. When she completed her internship, Jena wasn't really sure where dietetics was going to take her, but she knew family was the most important thing to her and her job would follow. In this episode, we talk about her internship, her first job, and her current position of creating a diabetes education program. Here is my conversation with Jena. When were you at my store? When did we start kind of working together?
Oh gosh.
2012, for some reason, was it later?
It was
than
2013.
that? Okay.
And I think I was with you like June and July of that summer.
Okay. I couldn't remember if it was 2012 or 2013.
Yes, because I had graduated in May.
Okay.
And then I started with you. You were my first.
I was your first?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. Did I know that? Did you tell me that?
Probably.
I don't remember. I don't remember you. I don't remember. Gosh, I was your first.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Did I set the standard high for the rest of the internship?
Yeah. It was sad to go.
It was fun. It was a fun.
It would have been fun to come back.
You should have. Just came back for like your free week and hung out with me.
Instead, I chose to do the critical care unit
At
Methodist.
At Methodist. Mm-hmm. And how did you like critical care?
It was intense. It's not what I wanted to do, and I knew that, but I think I just did it so that I could learn more.
Kind of challenge yourself and kind of see, and to see if you liked it.
Yeah. That
it might be a possibility for you to work in. Mm-hmm. So when you were in it, did you, how long did it take for you to figure out that wasn't kind of what you wanted to do?
Oh, I think right away. Like I remember on the second day when I was in that unit, the dietitian I was with, she had told me we were going to rounding with like the care team.
Sure.
Well, for some reason she got held up and she couldn't come. So I just went and listened, and she said just go anyway, I'll be there. Well, the physicians started asking what the dietitian recommendations were for this patient.
Oh my God.
It was my second day. I didn't even know the patient, and so I just felt
out of place,
out of whack right away. But I mean, they realized at that point I was an intern. But
sure. It
was tough because she had to really, I guess, promote herself and show her worth to everyone. Mm-hmm. And she had great standing. Obviously, I did not.
You were brand new.
Yeah.
So when you think about that situation, being completely out of your element, take me back to when you first kind of became interested in nutrition. What was the aha moment that you wanted to kind of go into this profession?
I wouldn't say I had an aha moment. I actually started out in accounting.
Did you really?
Iowa State, and I did that for 2 years. And that was because I really love numbers.
Okay.
Well, I realized, I like numbers, but I wasn't talking to anybody else. It was just kind of...
It was you and the numbers. You didn't
me
have
and the numbers.
social
so
interaction.
I don't know how this will be once I get done with school. So I realized I really needed something where I could talk to people, see different people all the time. And I've always loved exercising and food. And
so that kind of...
It was a really good...
So how do you transition from account 2 years in accounting? That's a long time to put into college and then switch over.
Yeah, so I did have to start kind of from the bottom with dietetics, and I started with the intro classes. So it did take me a year longer than
than most.
than it would have, but it was still.
Did you love the classes?
Yeah, right away. I knew
so it was easy.
Mm-hmm.
But was accounting easy for you too?
At the beginning, yes. But surprisingly, some of the classes I was a little confused.
So maybe that also helped the transition into.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but the nutrition classes, I enjoyed them. Some of it was hard, but it was stuff that I wanted to learn. So.
Did you do nutrition and exercise both, or just the
No,
nutrition
I just did
track?
the dietetics track without the exercise.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's I heard that a lot of people are doing both now, so I didn't know if that was something that you started with.
Yeah, and while I was at Iowa State, I had a few people I knew that were doing both, and they thought it was very challenging compared to just the dietetics coursework. And there was kind of, rumors, swirling around that was going to be the new requirement.
Oh.
However, I don't think that
it hasn't changed.
Yeah, it hasn't changed, but at one point they were saying that might be required, and so I don't know.
Well, now you can just keep exercising for fun.
Yeah.
That can just be part of it.
No exercise physiology. Yeah.
So, that's true. Did you find all your classes kind of in college? Do you feel like they kind of prepared you for your internship? Do you feel like that was a good foundation for, unfortunately, with critical care, you weren't probably up to speed, but for the majority of what you did in your internship?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously medical nutrition therapy stands out, that class. It was a whole year.
It was. Medical nutrition, I loved it, but there was a lot of stuff I just did not. It didn't click very easily for me.
And I think,
you feel that way?
Yeah, because I remember transitioning from, say, diabetes to chronic kidney disease and some, like you said, some of it I felt really comfortable with, and then other diseases
you were just all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that you are all over the place, because you go from diabetes to kidney disease, and then you go to cardiac care, and then you're back to med surge and.
Exactly. And then you have patients and they have everything.
Yeah.
Hang on. Wait, they have kidney disease too? Oh, shoot.
Yes, because that changes. I just recently had a customer that he wanted a diet plan, and he had, I think, liver disease, diabetes, hypertension, and wanted me to actually write out an eating plan for him every week. And when you have all those things going on, it took me 10 hours.
I bet. And
that's the majority of people. They all have all those problems.
Everything.
Which is, it's overwhelming.
It is.
So that probably kind of had a little something to do with maybe you're not loving the whole critical care and getting thrown at all that stuff by you.
Yep. And I just think maybe that high intensity environment wasn't
thing.
Maybe for me as well.
More relaxed environment. So thinking about your internship, how do you feel about looking back on your internship? How do you feel about how it went? Did you feel like you got enough experience? Do you feel like you could have had a longer experience? Talk to me about just the different aspects of your internship. Besides being with Fabulous.
Yes. Well, being with you, I feel like I did get a great experience with Hy-Vee and seeing kind of every aspect of what a Hy-Vee dietitian does. And there are things that really stood out from my time with you, such as doing the screenings.
Sure. The health screenings. You did a lot of health screenings.
I loved doing the health screenings. I thought those were great. It was always different and going somewhere new. But in the other, rotations.
So retail was kind of your community rotation?
Yes. And I only had a week with WIC.
Okay. And that was, what did you do it?
I did it at Broadlawns.
In Broadlawns.
At Lutheran. And I enjoyed my time. However, I would have enjoyed going to different clinics versus just being in one.
Okay.
And I don't know, because I started out, actually, I'm sure I'll get to that, but I started out as a WIC dietitian.
Yes.
And that was my shortest rotation in the internship.
In the whole internship.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of interesting, but you never know where you'll land.
Exactly.
So
And so probably looking back on it now, you wish you would have had more time with WIC.
Exactly.
In different experiences in different places, which makes sense.
Yeah. So I didn't have a lot of time with WIC. At the time, I didn't think it mattered.
Yeah.
And then I wished I would have had more and seen more. As far as like the clinical rotations go, those were very interesting. Each week I was with a different dietitian.
Oh.
Except for when I did the critical care unit.
Okay.
I was with her for 4 weeks.
Okay.
So we spent a lot of time together, but everybody else I kind of just hopped from week to week, which was great because I could kind of pick up on someone's style, see how they like to do things, and move on. And I think the downfall of that was just that changing all the time, and it was hard to get comfortable sometimes.
Did you feel like you're running around like a crazy person most of the time?
Yes.
Because your clinical rotation was how many months?
Oh gosh, let me think. I feel like it was, I should know this. I felt like it was probably at least 4 months of the
clinical,
and of the 6-month internship.
So it's the majority of your internship, because I did the same internship as you, and ours was 3 months. So
yeah, it was somewhere in there. And then I also had a week with school food service at Southeast Polk. And that was great. I loved working with the school food service director there. She sent me off.
Was she a dietitian?
She was a dietitian.
She was. That's good.
Yes. So she would send me off every day to a different kitchen.
Did you cook?
I did.
Did you?
I'd served a lot of food.
Did you wear a hairnet and gloves and the whole thing?
The day I was at the high school was pretty interesting. The little kids, that was the fun. Yeah.
How was the high school kid?
Oh, I'm sure they wondered what I was doing. The new girl serving the food.
They're probably, I'm sure everybody knew you were the new girl too.
Yeah. So that was definitely a good experience. I guess just seeing how all of the different kitchens operated.
The different aspects, dynamics.
We didn't really get to dive into I guess the management part of it too much. It was more just kind of seeing the kitchen. So I would have probably liked to see more of how she does the budget.
Sure.
All of
Ordering.
that.
Did you get to see any of that? No.
No.
And that's I think that's a huge part of school food service, and not just serving the kids.
Yeah. I think at this point, I feel like school food service is kind of hard to get into without some sort of
background
food service experience.
They are starting to hire more dietitians though, which I think is good. You're starting to see that transition of just a general, what they call lunch ladies.
Yeah.
And now they're having actual professionals taking that role.
Yep.
I remember in my internship when I did school food service, the school food service director was having me demo, I think it was some new Fanta drink to the high school kids during lunch. So obviously, as a dietitian, things have probably changed a little bit in that school, since those aren't even available anymore.
You can't even buy those at a school.
You can't even buy them in a school anymore. So
oh my gosh. Yeah, things have changed.
When you had your internship and I've had mine, I mean, that was probably a 10-year difference. But yeah, things have changed a little bit. So thinking about you did, so it kind of sounds like for you kind of wish that you had more experience in those community aspects.
Yes. And it was interesting going into the internship. I thought that I'd really want to do the clinical, that I'd really enjoy that. And it wasn't what I liked the best out of the internship. I really did like the community
aspect of it.
Yeah.
Which is, that's why you go through your internship too.
Yeah. And I think that being in school, so studying MNT was very interesting. But actually, I think doing it in the clinical setting is a lot different than
it is
taking a test on it.
So that brings up a great point. So thinking about, as you look back on doing your schooling, your internship, you felt like you were prepared for your internship. When you did get to that point where you're doing staff relief for, different dietitians, do you think your internship, or do you think school, so did you have the confidence to just take over and take that role during your internship?
Not necessarily.
No.
I think if I would have been somewhere not clinical,
sure,
I think I would have had that confidence, but I was just kind of overwhelmed I think at Methodist, I think just the size of the hospital, the amount of dietitians they had.
How many dietitians do they have?
Oh my gosh, when I was there, I think it was like, I think they had like 9.
Wow, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of dietitians.
It was a lot. And then they also had a dietitian at Methodist West.
Okay.
So I got to go there. And then Lutheran also was part of it.
Sure.
And they had 2 or 3 dietitians there.
So that's quite a few for one facility. Wow.
Yeah.
You did get bounced around a lot.
Yep. Flipped around all over.
So there's pros and cons to that. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think what would have made my clinical rotations better is if I really had one person in charge of me. They didn't have their like nutrition coordinator. I don't know what her clinical manager at that time. She had just taken a different job. So the entire time I was there wasn't one person that I really reported to.
Oh, wow.
So
you could have just not shown up.
Yeah, so some days I kind of felt that way.
This week I'm going to skip and I'm going to I'm going to take a vacation.
Yeah.
Well, at least you were responsible. Yeah. So you could have just come and hung out with me. You could have found you at my store.
They did. I mean, they had me assigned to someone each week.
Report to. But yeah, it would help if you had someone that was directly.
Yeah, and to kind of give me like that overview and yeah. And as I think about that, I guess the whole part that I'm missing is I did do food service at that hospital as well at Methodist.
Oh, okay.
And so I was there for like 3 to 4 weeks doing that.
Wow. And was that mostly just kitchen work, or did you get some management exposure?
I wasn't really in the kitchen at all.
Okay.
I worked on a lot of projects for them, so they were trying to standardize their recipes across their 3 locations. And so a lot of it I was kind of taking pictures, making sure things looked the same at each location, verifying recipes.
What did you think of that?
It was okay. I don't think I necessarily gained a lot from it. I know I helped them. Which
you did.
Was great.
Which is kind of sometimes what happens in your internship.
But no, I mean, I got to see a lot during that. I saw some management styles. I got to see some kitchen employees let go. Oh. Which was a fun surprise. I didn't know
what I was in the room.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was sitting in on, but
so you sat in on them being fired? Oh.
One of them I didn't. They said it was best I would go somewhere else.
Wow, that's really interesting. Now, was that with a dietitian, like firing somebody?
No.
Or is it management
It was like
staff?
A food service manager.
Okay, because I was that lucky you.
Another thing I did like an in-service for the kitchen staff.
Okay.
And it was very wide open, and I wasn't given a lot of direction, which was okay.
Sure.
So they were having a lot of trouble with their food costs, which I think most places
it's a common
struggle with.
denominator.
So I kind of did an in-service on portioning and using the proper measuring tool. Yes. And like kind of a hands-on activity. And it was interesting because a lot of the kitchen staff at Methodist, they didn't really speak English that great.
So they all sat there with a blank stare, like
some of them, But no, I think they enjoyed it because it was something different.
Yeah, they didn't have
in their
to
day.
Interesting.
Yeah, forgot about that till now. Oh my gosh.
I think as dietitians, you have to laugh about your internship because you just have so many interesting. Everybody has their own unique kind of experiences.
Yes, and. Oh gosh, things are coming back to me now that we're talking about this. I haven't really thought about my internship for a long time. But when I was we're jumping around, but when I was in the critical care unit, I had put in like tube feeding recommendations for a patient. And all of my work was critiqued by the dietitian on the floor. And if anything she felt was iffy, she'd have me change it. And so she co-signed everything I did. And I mean, basically, I felt like they usually ended up being her notes.
They just changed.
You know, by the end of it, I started to understand what exactly she wanted.
You just wrote out what she wanted.
Yeah, so I'd put in these tube feeding recommendations, and I was sitting at a, movable, what am I trying to say?
Like a station? Like a
Yeah, we kind of rolled our computers around.
Okay,
So I was just sitting there next to it was in one of the pods.
Okay.
And one of the residents was sitting on the other side of this desk. And he started going off about this dietetic intern's note.
And it was yours?
It was mine. And I don't understand why I'm taking recommendations from this dietetic intern. How long has she been here? And, you know, where's Margaret's note? That was the dietitian. So I just sat there, and he was kind of going on, and finally I just turned to him and I said, "Hi." I said, "I'm Jena, I'm the dietetic intern." And I said, "And if you look," I said, "Margaret, she signs all my notes." I said, "She looks over them before."
What did he do?
And he goes, "Oh my gosh, well, oh gosh. You know, they're good recommendations, and we are a teaching hospital, so I'm really glad that you're here."
See, that stuff happens, though.
Oh my gosh, I was so red in the face, but I just didn't want to sit there anymore and let him.
I'm so proud of you for doing that.
Talk to me.
No, yeah, well, yeah, because you're like, I know I followed direction, I followed Margaret's orders, and
yeah,
good for you. That's awesome.
So that was kind of neat. And then Margaret, she would have me go see the residents. They had an office, and sometimes she'd have me go and take our recommendations and
give it to them
and see what they said.
That's a little intimidating.
Very intimidating. But most of the residents, besides the one
that was a little boisterous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they were very receptive and interested. Yeah.
Obviously your internship totally shapes, your future, and those kind of moments. Like I think about, the like a resident saying that about you. I think it kind of influences maybe a little bit too how you feel about what I'm going to do when I grow up, kind of thing. Because you'd have to deal with that kind of stuff a lot, even as a dietitian. Even if you were the next Margaret, you would still be questioned about your
and
expertise.
proving.
Yeah, because I think constantly as dietitians we're trying to prove ourselves as that we know what we're talking about. So, which is sad. But
I agree. And so many patients come to you and they want to be on this diet that they have heard about, and it's sometimes hard, suggesting what we know compared to what they think
what they've read, or what they Googled, or how they heard about this fantastic diet that's going to help me lose 50 pounds in 2 weeks.
Yep. And keep it off.
And keep it off forever. So talk to me about, I would love to know, since it's been a while since we've caught up, but I'd love to know more about kind of your first job out of your internship, and how did your test, your experience, job hunting, how did all that go for you?
So I finished the internship just before it was Thanksgiving in 2013, and I took the exam in January.
Okay. So you studied for a little while.
I had a good month. I didn't study.
You didn't study
very well until the last couple weeks.
Did you?
Yeah.
And you hit it really hard.
Yep.
Well, it was right over a holiday, too.
It was hard. I mean, I had Thanksgiving, then I had Christmas. I just wasn't in the mood.
You're like, then I have New Year's, then I'll refocus, and...
Exactly. So, I mean, I would say the last couple weeks I really...
hit it hard.
Hard.
Did you pass?
Yeah.
Yes. We'll see. You were fine then.
It went fine, yeah. No, I'd say the test was what I expected.
That's good.
It really went along with that binder we were given.
Sure. Did you have a lot of food service questions?
Yes.
Tons.
I
did too.
And I was surprised. And I thought I did well on them. Yeah. And then when I saw my results, I really didn't do that well in that part.
I thought I did good.
Which, that kind of surprised me. But.
So when you think about, like, when the screen went blank, what did you feel like during that part?
I felt pretty calm. I've always been pretty good with tests.
That's good.
And so I don't know.
Did you drive yourself and said, Did you leave, like, going, oh my gosh, I passed and no one's here?
I know, and I'm all alone. Because no one wanted to sit and wait that long.
Wait that long for you to finish your test.
So, no, the test went well. And actually, prior to the test, I had already landed my job.
Oh, you did?
At that time. So, I had been hired at WIC in Marshalltown, contingent that I passed my exam.
Gotcha.
Which I did.
Understandable.
So
yeah,
so
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you had already had a job lined up.
Mm-hmm.
So you really, and were you excited about WIC and the opportunity?
Mm-hmm. I was really excited. I think that I didn't realize how much I enjoyed, I guess, the pregnant moms.
Sure.
And as I worked at WIC for a while, I guess those were the clients that I wanted to see all the time.
Gotcha. Those are the ones that you kind of gravitated to.
Yeah.
Was that the draw to WIC for you? Was kind of working with kids and moms and
yes,
the ones that were pregnant?
Honestly, I wouldn't say working with the kids. That was never something I said. I want to grow up and be a WIC dietitian and, see kids all day. That wasn't necessarily my plan, but once I got into it, I really did enjoy it. And it was such a mix all the time of
different needs and educations. And
so it's very challenging.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that WIC is challenging that way. I think, people think that, that's that first step as a dietitian out of your internship. But I think anymore, there's so many different aspects about WIC that we don't even realize. And I probably don't. So, I mean, if I would love for you to, I would like to know a little bit more about that.
I agree. So I don't know, talking to other dietitians kind of my age, everybody says, well, yeah, being a WIC dietitian, that's like your initiation to being a dietitian. Everybody goes through WIC and then they move on to something else. Mm-hmm. But really, some people have been at WIC
for a long time.
Forever. That's really what they enjoy.
How many dietitians are at?
At the WIC I was at, we had 2 base locations.
Okay.
So we had 2 dietitians here in Marshalltown and then a nutritionist.
Okay.
So somebody who had their dietetics degree but wasn't an RD.
Okay.
And then in the Ames office, there were also 1 to 2 dietitians and a nutritionist, kind of the same.
Okay.
And then we also had tons of travel sites.
That you would go to. Mm-hmm. Did you ever have to go to travel sites?
Yes.
Yes.
Especially when I started out, I traveled 2 days a week.
You were the new one on the block.
Mm-hmm. And it was fun. It really was because, I don't know, I had a lot of fun working with the staff at WIC. A lot of the women were Hispanic, and so they were bilingual.
Sure.
And we just had so much fun.
Now?
No. And they always laughed. They said that, I could pick up on a little.
Sure, yeah.
No.
But you didn't pick it up as much as you could have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but I just had a lot of fun working with, I guess, somebody different than myself.
Sure.
Who's had different experiences, and traveling, you get to know people really well. But I guess more into I don't know, I think kind of what you said, I think some people think of WIC as an easy dietitian job, but it was very challenging. And so there was so much to know.
Really?
Especially with, you have pregnancy, so nutrition during pregnancy, breastfeeding. That was something that I felt I didn't come away from school or the internship
knowing anything
prepared for it all.
Really? So you learned a lot of that.
And I learned everything that I know now basically from WIC.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. And it is so interesting.
And that's probably stuff that you would have loved to have in your internship and spent more time at WIC during your internship doing that.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that's where I really enjoyed spending my time, was with moms that wanted to breastfeed or that were just starting out. Mm-hmm. So
it's a critical time too.
Yeah, it really was. And we had breastfeeding peer counselors that worked with WIC. And so that's where I learned tons of my knowledge, was from them. They would come and do presentations. They would just come and answer our questions. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's well, and that should be part of an internship.
I think so too.
I kind of think so too.
Yeah, because otherwise, I think the WIC will hire on the basis that they know you don't know. And that you'll get it.
Well, and I think they put a lot of faith in, probably your internship, and that they have a good track record with those dietitians that come out of there too, which is okay.
Yeah,
to have that.
I definitely think the other part of WIC that is very challenging would be the caseload.
Do you have a lot of clients?
Mm-hmm. So I remember seeing just clients back to back to back to back to back.
Really? So your days are packed.
So days were so packed. Lunch breaks were rare.
Standing up, sitting at your desk.
Yep, in between people. And so that was sometimes challenging because with WIC, everything was dependent on your agency's caseload.
Oh, so like the funding and, okay.
So it sounds kind of, I don't know, counterintuitive, like, why do you want all these people on WIC? Shouldn't it be great that people aren't coming to WIC? But really, we know that the need is there, so it's best just to help them versus not have them.
And it brings more money to your facility.
Yeah. So that was interesting. I mean, we would just jam-pack our days. And so just preparing for clients, I know being in other settings, you kind of have time to go through their chart.
You schedule time.
Yeah, you schedule it.
Where you were already scheduled with clients. So you didn't have
So it was kind of out of the dietitian's control sometimes. And then after you get done with them, it was on to the next. So I would say it was very mentally
exhausting.
draining.
So yeah, how did you feel at the end of the day? Like when you went home,
beat.
Were you? So in thinking about that too, I mean, not that pay is everything either, but do you feel like for what you did, what were you being compensated?
I think it was fair.
Yeah.
I think that honestly the mental exhaustion was probably up there with any difficulty in the job.
Huh. And patient education is exhausting. It's tiring.
It is because and obviously trying to do the patient-centered education just one after the next.
And trying to remember, okay, now what am I doing? What's going on with this person? It wouldn't be just one kind of a client every time. You're doing, okay, now I gotta get these.
So you gotta focus, okay, I have a baby now, and then, here's a 4-year-old. Here's a child who has a tube feeding, just.
Yeah, and seeing, I don't think people think about, there's tube feedings at WIC.
And the WIC dietitians, they did a lot of work actually, like with the doctors in determining tube feeding rate, needs. And I think that that's sometimes overlooked.
Oh, I would have never guessed that, because I think you think more of that, that's hospital, medical nutrition therapy. It has nothing to do with WIC.
And so that was surprising when I started there. Like, oh my gosh, I need to figure out how much this baby's getting from the tube feeding.
Yeah, and how much they're eating and keeping food log. And wow, I would have never guessed that.
So transitioning from WIC, when I started at the hospital here in Marshalltown, I started training with inpatients.
Okay.
So they kind of wanted to give me an overview of what all the dietitians do at the hospital. So they wanted me to get comfortable with inpatients. And I really had an advantage, I felt, from a lot of the dietitians who haven't worked with babies. We actually have a lot of babies admitted to the hospital.
Do you really?
And with our policy, we see all of them.
Oh,
any pediatric
criteria then. Did you have a lot of pediatric in your internship?
No.
So you didn't really know peds? Because I didn't either, and peds wasn't a big thing, and peds is tough.
I think peds is very challenging.
I think so too. It's kind of crazy. So how long, let's back up a second. So you're at WIC for how long were you at WIC then?
2 years.
2 years. So when you were transitioning and wanting to go back into the hospital setting, was there a certain thing that triggered you to, it's time to move on? What was that second job? What were you looking for?
I think I was just looking for, so the position that was posted, the one that I applied for, is not the position I currently have. No. I applied for a position that said like outpatient counseling.
Okay.
And like weight loss clinics.
Okay.
So they were starting these weight loss clinics, and they wanted a dietitian for those.
Okay.
So my thought, I guess, looking at the job posting was that I kind of felt like the schedule would be a little better.
Okay.
And I could actually get to know the patients, have more of a relationship with them, versus at WIC, I kind of just felt like sometimes they were just so shuffled through that they could kind of get lost, and then you wouldn't see them again for
who knows how long,
3 months until they come back for more benefits. You didn't really have that follow-up, and even if they did come back, it wasn't guaranteed that I would be the one seeing them again.
Sure.
So that was kind of hard. I felt like I never had any
You
follow
wanted that
through.
Patient connection. You wanted that consistency with your patients.
So I was really excited because I thought, okay, good. This position would be great. I could start to have relationship with these clients, Well, then I interviewed, and they said, well, actually, we're starting this diabetes program. You seem like you're a go-getter. Would you be interested?
Did they really say that to you?
Yeah. They were like, you're very, spunky on top of things. I think you could get this going for us.
Well, you are spunky. I mean, you have a great personality.
So I was like, okay, that sounds great, And so that's the position I have, is coordinating the diabetes education program.
Okay.
That was not in place, but that we just gained accreditation for.
Okay. So you went to training recently for that too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, but to back up, when I started, I trained not in that position. So I trained the other dietitian positions that the hospital has. So inpatient dietitian, the weight loss clinic with the other person that was hired for that.
So they hired someone else. Okay.
And then they also have a lot of other kind of miscellaneous functions, like community events that the hospital dietitians put on.
Oh, okay.
A lot of just outpatient counseling for non-diabetes diagnoses.
Just any health kind of related stuff.
Mostly like weight management and things like that. So I don't know. I started off training in all those areas. And then I sort of started working on this accreditation of this diabetes program.
Which you probably knew absolutely nothing about.
Correct.
They just thought you were a go-getter.
Yeah, I think they kind of liked my personality for it, so that's how I got
That's a compliment
involved.
to you.
Yeah, so I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
However, I hadn't really worked with diabetes since the internship. I had a week with like an outpatient diabetes center, which is very similar to what we've started now. But it was
1 week again.
It was a week.
Not enough.
Yeah, I didn't really grasp what was
No.
the big picture while I was there. So, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of been a whirlwind. So it's myself, and then I work really closely with a nurse who is part of the program.
Diabetes educator?
She's not a certified diabetes educator. She could sit and take the exam. She has just chosen not to.
Not to. Gotcha.
So she's been working in diabetes education for like over 10 years. And she came from a clinic here in town, and they really backed her to come to the program.
Oh, okay.
So it's been wonderful because everybody knows her.
Oh, that's nice for you.
Yeah, and she knows tons about, obviously, the meters and insurance.
And doing that training type stuff.
Yeah. So she's been awesome in helping get me up to speed with the non-nutrition part of
diabetes.
So with building the program, we basically... I mean, I don't even know where to start. It was a lot of work. We had to build our own charting system.
Electronically? Wow. And that got thrown in as new to this whole thing. That was all put onto you. Holy, that's a lot of responsibility.
So we worked with, we're accredited now through AADE.
Okay, yeah.
Versus like the ADA.
Sure.
I don't know. Do you have a diabetes program with...
So we do.
Okay.
And ours is we have a couple stores that are accredited with the AAD.
Okay.
And I started doing pre-diabetes prevention programs, DPP.
Yes.
At my store. So, yeah, I'm teaching 2 classes right now.
Awesome. So group setting.
And
is it covered by insurance?
It's starting to be, which is interesting because I think Medicare just recently also is going to start doing the DPP type setting too. So
that's awesome.
It is. It's a lot of work though.
Yeah.
That's why I think about your program, for you to be totally not in diabetes at all.
Yeah.
For that, something that you're doing from scratch.
Yeah. So, I mean, getting the program going, didn't really require as much diabetes background or knowledge as much as it did just
doing all the formalities stuff.
Yeah, doing all the formalities, all of the background work to get it going. But then I did go to a training. It's required to have so many continuing ed credits in it, so I went
forever for the rest of our lives.
Forever. And it's like 18, or I can't remember, 15 or 18 continuing ed credits related to diabetes.
So will you get your CD then? Will you work
probably
towards that?
Eventually. I haven't really looked at this point, but I know it requires
a lot of
contact hours. Yeah, that's something I'm wanting.
So thinking about where you were at you loved working with pregnant moms and babies and children. how is this fitting into your dietitian passion and purpose? Like, how do you feel about this new adventure that you're on? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I really do like working with my clients. I mean, we have such, a better connection than I had with most WIC clients.
Okay. So
just
you're
because
that
I get to see them more often. Mm-hmm.
Good.
And it's just us. They're not seeing anybody else.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So I really like that now. So I still get to see a lot of pregnant women because of gestational diabetes.
Well, in the population that you probably work with, there's a lot of gestational diabetes in this area too.
Yeah, we have a lot of Hispanic women, even Native Americans. Mm-hmm. So,
well, that's fun. You're meshing in a weird way. Mm-hmm. You got the opportunity to kind of mesh two of your interests as a dietitian.
Yeah, and I didn't see this coming at all. I never said I'm gonna help start a diabetes program and become
anybody would ever say they wanted to start a diabetes program.
Yeah,
it is a lot of work.
Mm-hmm. It was so much work.
And to be accredited and to maintain your accreditation too, because don't you have to? You get surveyed and all that kind of stuff on a
There's
regular
yearly
basis.
reports that are submitted, and then I have to kind of facilitate at least yearly advisory panel meeting.
Oh,
so
wow.
Different stakeholders in the community. So a lot of providers want to be part of it.
Sure.
Because they want to say in
what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think the hardest thing though with the program is reimbursement for private insurance.
And I think
we're having such a hard time
across the board, and it's such a needed program.
Yep.
And that's a horrible thing to try to. You want to help. You want to help out your patients, but again, a lot of them can't afford it.
Yep.
So then they're not going to do it because their insurance won't cover it.
Exactly.
Which is frustrating. And that's what it sounds like. You're a dietitian that wants to help as many people as you possibly can, and you're having to. They either just don't come back, or you have to turn them away, and that's hard.
Yeah, and I mean, we get so many referrals every day, and I mean, the private pay ones. Once I tell them, what the
cost is,
set fee is, they just say I'm not interested.
Sure, that's frustrating. So when you think about your WIC job, you think about your current job. Is the happiness level, is it increasing? Is it fulfilling?
Yes.
Is it,
yeah, I think it's more fulfilling. And also, I don't have as many managerial responsibilities as I did. Even though I'm coordinating the program, I only have the nurse that I supervise, and really she could be supervising me with the knowledge she has. She's really great. So, I mean, that's just much easier than my past position. I was in charge of 9 to 10 people at a time.
That's
some dietitians, some data clerks. So it was a mix of positions that I was in charge of.
You were the WIC manager, correct?
Yes. For this location.
Particular location.
Yep.
Well, that's a good thing that it sounds like that you want to be more of the dietitian. You just want to kind of work with your clients.
Yeah, and I do want to be, more of just the dietitian versus in charge of all the dietitians
and making everyone happy. And
yep, exactly. But I think that if I wouldn't have had that management experience at WIC, I don't know if the hospital would have looked at me for.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe I would be the weight loss clinic dietitian. I don't know.
Maybe you would be. Do you like weight loss? I mean, well, obviously you would. A little bit with diabetes, you have to.
Yeah. I mean, it goes kind of hand in hand.
Sure.
They're pretty similar, but I don't know because
you haven't really.
I really haven't worked with.
So when you think back on your internship and where you're at now, when you thought of your ideal job, I'm a go-getter, I'm just getting done with my internship, what's the perfect job? When you think about that, do you think back to, did you have something in mind, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think during the internship, I wanted to be a Hy-Vee dietitian. That's what I wanted to do.
You wanted to work in retail.
I did, and I had interviewed during the internship for a Hy-Vee position, but I was really early in my internship, and obviously I did not get that position. And then, nothing really was open kind of at the time I was applying, so it just didn't really work out
with how things happened. And then there was a position open here.
Yes, so a position opened here, but at that time
you were happy at WIC,
and I didn't really want to. I don't know. I just wanted more time at one place.
Sure. Because how long
than to say, see you, WIC, I'm gonna go try this for a while, and then I don't know. There's always that fear, like, what if? I don't know. What if you don't enjoy it, and then
you wish you would have went back? Yeah. So obviously, WIC turned out to be something that you really did enjoy, and that it wasn't worth it at the time to switch over to go do what you thought you originally wanted to do.
Yeah.
Is that interesting?
That is funny. And I also had friend, acquaintance in town that had contacted me. We have the Iowa Veterans Home here.
Oh, yeah.
And so she actually manages the dietitians, and she said, please come apply.
Really?
And I was at WIC, and I didn't, even though I knew I didn't want to be at WIC forever, it just wasn't time. I don't know.
But I think that's a great thing to talk about, because I think timing really, obviously in your case too, is everything. Yeah. How timing has kind of worked out for you. And I think, I don't know if you feel the same way, but I think as dietitians, we always struggle with, is there something better sometimes? But then you kind of know deep down inside that whether it's timing or whether it's what I thought I liked, maybe I don't. Yeah.
And keeping like the schedule in mind.
Sure. And that's a big part of it. Your personal life is a huge part of it. And so is your schedule working better now?
It is in a lot of ways. Like during the week, depending on when we have classes, occasionally we have to see people later due to work or whatever. But usually I can kind of work 7:30 to 4.
Oh, nice. You can kind of set your schedule unless you have a class.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is good.
So that's really nice. But at the hospital, I'm currently part of the weekend rotation.
Are you? I was going to ask if you were doing How is the weekend rotation?
Oh, I have to do it tomorrow and Sunday, so I'll let you know now. It's been okay.
Are you on call?
No, we actually go.
You go in both days?
Both days.
Holy smokes.
Which is a lot different, I guess, than
like bigger
hospitals. I think what we've kind of learned is that a lot of facilities have somebody on Saturday go in, and then Sunday on call type. For us, I don't know why, but we go in
both days.
Yeah.
So then do you have like Monday, Tuesday off? Or
no. When we work the weekends, we do 10 days on in a row.
Smokes. That is very interesting.
Yeah.
So that's not your favorite part.
No. I feel like it takes away from what I'm there for.
Yeah. Which is the
diabetes program.
So they just throw every dietitian into the weekends.
Yes, they have been. I guess as my understanding is that as a coordinator, we don't have to do the weekend rotation. So I kind of started out doing it to gain more experience when I started. But now that my program's up and running, I kind of wish I could back off of it, because I have so much work to do during the week that we take off days during the week to compensate for the time on the weekend.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I have like a 3-day weekend, then I work 10 days straight. Then I have a 3-day weekend. Okay. And then I'll work like normal 5 days.
That's good. That's interesting. But now that you're at that point too, you're like, I really want to focus more on what I was hired for.
Yeah. And there's so much work to be done that I feel like I'm kind of
trying to find the balance. Yeah. Do you feel like you can ever get to that point where you can be like, I need to pull myself out?
Yes. So that's what I haven't told you.
So you have.
I am going off of the weekend schedule after August.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah. And
it goes back to your personal life too, and your schedule, and how that means a lot to you to be balanced and to be a good dietitian. I think you have to have that balance.
And at that point, I'm going to be very pregnant. So
you will be. You'll be preparing for a little one to change your home schedule and your personal schedule around. Are you going to stay working? Yeah. Good.
I think so.
Good.
I think it's hard to say.
Yeah. Things change.
I've talked to so many people, and a lot of people say you won't know until the baby's here.
Sure.
How you feel. If you'll know if you want to really be at home all the time or if you are ready to go back.
Always says, she's like, I totally worship women that can stay home. She's like, I'm a much better mom when I work. So
that's
I think
what many people say.
Yes, I think it just depends.
I think it's like this great, vision that people have.
Yes.
Oh, it'll be so wonderful to stay at home, and
it's hard.
I think, I don't know.
You'll find out.
We'll find out soon. Yeah.
You're gonna navigate motherhood like you did dietitian world. It's just gonna all kind of just happen for you.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't even know how to swaddle a baby. So.
Well, there's classes for that.
I heard the nurse shows you after.
You can do an internship in pre-baby.
I know. I need to start some classes.
So when you look back on everything that you've gone through with your profession, are you happy? Are you happy right now where you're at being a dietitian?
I am.
Good. I like hearing that because I think sometimes, people don't realize that it is a big part of your life and you have to be happy.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be happy, but when I think about it, I don't know, being a dietitian is part of your personal life because it's how we choose to eat every day. I just think it is so overlapping. Even though I teach carb counting at work, I don't necessarily come home and count carbs all the time, but I still am thinking about it.
You're like, this is a carb and this is a serving. And it does food is kind of your whole life.
At least I know for me it is.
Well, I have had so much fun reconnecting with you and chatting with you today, and it's so great to see people I've worked with and how successful you are and how happy you are. And
I mean, I wouldn't have been without you. You were my number one reference, I think.
What did I tell you when you started at your internship? Do you remember? You were probably like, no, because it was my first day and it was horrible. I always told my interns, I'm like, I want you to have fun.
Yes.
Like, that's the biggest thing, because I think as an intern, it's so hard to...
It's so stressful.
Yes. And so I hope you had fun.
And
it sounds like you're having fun now, which is good. It makes me happy as one of your previous mentors.
It's kind of funny. I work with somebody, I would say, as fun as you now.
Oh, good. That's good.
Yeah.
That coworkers...
Good to work with.
They make or break a job sometimes, so...
Totally
well, before we get done, I have just some fun questions to ask you. Okay. So just kind of tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. What's your favorite food?
I don't...
If you were stranded on a desert island, it was the last thing you could eat.
I don't know. Maybe pizza.
Pizza? That would be mine too.
I mean, can't beat it.
Can't beat pizza. It's the best. What's your least favorite food?
Oh, this is going to be surprising, but for some reason, I really don't like sweet potatoes.
A dietitian who doesn't like sweet potatoes.
It might be the pregnancy. I don't know. I haven't been able to eat them.
Did you eat them before?
Yeah.
Did you make yourself eat them?
Yeah. I don't know why. They've always been a struggle.
That's that whole dietitian thing carrying on. We need to eat sweet potatoes. You don't really probably need to.
Yeah, I know.
What is your favorite drink?
Alcoholic or not?
Both. You could give me one of each.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I would say I like milk.
You like milk?
Quite a bit.
That's good. That's lots of nutrients.
And Pinot Grigio.
I like that balance.
Yeah. Little of,
What's your least favorite drink?
Oh, I don't know. These questions are hard.
They're meant to be.
Probably like soda.
I'm not a big soda drinker.
Yeah.
I'm not either.
Like orange soda. I don't like orange soda.
No orange soda.
Seems terrible.
When you have the baby, I'll bring you a 6-pack of orange soda. I'm just kidding. What is your favorite smell? It can be food, it can be non-food.
Aveda products.
Oh, I love Aveda.
I want that spa smell in my house all the time.
They should. Do they have candles for that?
I don't know. I wish they did.
I use Aveda products too, and I love that smell. And I go to a Aveda salon, and it like sticks on you when you walk out the door, and you can smell it. It's so nice. I love that.
It's so nice and relaxing.
What's your least favorite smell?
I mean, I would say like flowery old lady smell.
Perfume. Like that kind of rose, kind of perfumey smell. Yeah. And it's so strong.
Yes.
You
Just
can
kind
smell
of
it
takes your breath away.
a mile away. Yeah. I'm sure you get some of that in the hospital a little bit on occasion.
Yeah. Outpatients come in with some strong perfumes.
Yeah. That have probably been around for a while. When you think about a food that would be a guilty pleasure of yours, what would it be?
Oh, probably chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake, like homemade.
Yeah, homemade.
Do you make homemade chocolate
frosting.
cake?
No.
So this would be someone making it
Yes,
for
this
you.
would be like if somebody wanted to bring me this on my birthday, that would be
fantastic.
greatly appreciated.
Do you put ice cream on it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it would be like the whole thing.
Oh, everything.
With chocolate frosting in the cake.
Homemade frosting.
Homemade. Yes. Does your mom make homemade?
Yeah, when I was younger, she did like a homemade, I don't know, Hershey's type frosting. It was so good.
Do you think about that all the time? Like when you think about like the epitome of your favorite chocolate cake, is that the
Hers was a
memory?
brownie, and
Hers
it was
was a
very
brownie.
good.
Does she still
Be
make
hard
it
to
for
top.
you?
No, she does
No?
not. She's cut down a lot on her baking.
Darn. Well, maybe with a grandchild in the future, maybe she'll start.
Maybe
doing
cookies
that
will
again.
come back
Maybe
again.
that would be nice. With your milk, your favorite beverage.
You know what? I take it back. My favorite food is cookies and milk.
Cookies and milk. I
Yeah.
like it. I think you should do that tonight. It's the
Why
week.
not?
You have to work this weekend. I think it should be part of it. Well, Jenna, it's been awesome. And I can't wait to talk to you again and see where your future goes. And I'm excited to have known you and know you now. And thanks for today.
Thank you. You've been a big part of my life and my career, I'd say.
I'm honored.
So far.
I'm honored very much. Well, that was my conversation with Jenna. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And don't forget to check out my book, I'm a Registered Dietitian, Now What?, at annelizabethrd.com, where you can also find all of our show notes and links to everything we talked about today. And don't forget to connect with me on Twitter and Instagram at annelizabethrd. And as I leave you today, and every time I leave you, I remind you to be great always, find the joy in each day, and start a conversation that truly matters.